Hello and welcome to Magic Rabbits,
a podcast exploring the outermost edges of the music business that never was.
Celebrating the masses who never quite made Glastonbury, but had the best of times on the journey.
Here's to every one of us.
There you go. It's a little clue as to this week's episode. Episode 10, we're in double figures.
Mental illness.
Yeah. Gibbering wreck in the corner. Yeah, this is episode 10. We've made it to the 1-0, Tim.
The big 1-0.
We're going to have a party later after this. We're going to get wildly drunk and talk about our great success. Anyway, yeah, today hence my little attempt at a James Bond theme tune. We trailed it last week, didn't we? We thought that we were going to mention our James Bond theme tune that we recorded.
Yeah, we are. I mean, it's been a trial doing this. It's been as an experiment. It's a great idea, for us to do that. I can't remember. Did we actually come up with the idea of doing it before we actually started to write the music, or did I have the music?
My recollection is that about 8 years ago now we got into the studio in my house, and we just said, what should we do? We were sitting down to write some tunes, and we said, I know, let's, as an exercise, as a bit of fun, just a bit of fun, should we write something specific? I don't know whether we went through the full gamut of things you could write. Let's write a Eurovision Song Contest tune or whatever.
I've done that before.
You've done that before. Yeah. And we said, how about a Bond theme? That'd be great to write something really cinematic and broad and big and bold. And so we sat down, and you started playing around on the keyboard, and I don't know whether you already had this chord structure in your head, or you probably had something there, and we just kind of tinkered around with it, and you kind of this and this chord followed by this, and obviously we were trying to follow the patterns of traditional John Barry-esque
this is
chord changes. And
definitely. I mean, John Barry, obviously, as listeners will know, has been the musical director or something for the Broccoli's for so many years.
For the Bond themes, yeah.
The Bond themes, yeah. And even when the new Bond film comes out and they choose a current artist to do, to be there on the title sequence, they always they seem to have always had John Barry as a standby, kind of being involved with the writing and the production of it all. Yeah. So, for example, things like the Duran Duran one. That remember that?
I do remember that. Sadly.
Yeah. Sadly, it's great. And there were bits of...
Oh, you like that one?
Well,
we'll get into that later. Let's get into what we like about it. Let's talk about our song first, okay. I think, because it's all about us.
In the chorus, I've shifted a semitone. And basically, this is the signature style of John Barry. What he does... Whenever he gets assigned to an artist, he'll write with them, and he'll change something in it, in the song that they may have had to start with. He'll change something in the middle A or pre-chorus or wherever it might be, and he will put the John Barry signature in there. I think every artist of every stripe, whether it's a sculptor or a painter or whatever, they've got their sort of house style. They have this style. And, you can't imagine Banksy doing anything in watercolours, So with John Barry, he's got this style, and he's got this beautiful style that adds his signature to anything he does. And when I wrote the music for this, I did the very same thing in the chorus, just shifting up one semitone as if that's what John Barry would have done.
That's interesting, because
that's what he would have wanted.
When you remember all those kind of, certainly that 80s era where we were probably really growing up with James Bond theme tunes and everything, and you'd listen to these bands, whether it was Duran Duran or Aha or Sheena Easton or whatever it might be, and you go, that doesn't quite, it's nearly Duran Duran, but it's been changed slightly. They haven't come up, they haven't written that, and you go, that's John Barry that's gone in there and just gone, we just need to just move this from a DNA perspective back towards that initial James Bond feel and sound, which is very kind of cinematic, which of course comes from, and you've got to mention the fact that he didn't write the original theme tune. It was Monty Norman who wrote the classic guitar.
You said this earlier on. I'd never even heard of it.
So that guitar thing, which is in E minor, that down and ba bam ba ba bam bum bam bum bam, that's Monty Norman who wrote that for Dr. No, and then John Barry took over from then on and took that and kind of worked the DNA of that out.
Curiously, where it goes, there's they're just semitone shifts.
Yeah,
as well.
no, yeah.
So perhaps John Barry saw that and just thought, I like the sound of that.
Yeah.
I'll use that.
He's taken that on. But so you did that in the chorus, and do you remember how you came up with it initially? I mean, it's a long time ago now. I mean, we've just recorded this and finished this off last week or this week. But we came up with the bulk of it in the studio, and I don't think we've added anything particularly to it.
Well, the thing is with this, as an exercise, it's been interesting. It's been very interesting to do it, because during the production of it, I was always thinking, and we were both always thinking, it's got to be big, bold, Bond. It's got to be something. It's got to be things that we aren't. Our songs aren't like this, and they're not written like this. They're not produced like this, and they're not supposed to sound like this. So last night, I was finishing this thing off. Even at the last stage, when I'm listening to the final, what I thought was the final version of it, I'm thinking it's not big enough. It's not Bond enough. So I had to put different mastering curves on it. Hello to all you geeks out there. Different mastering curves on it just to make it wider.
Sorry, what were you saying?
And just to make it more wide and cinematic.
Well, what we've not got, obviously, we're not in studios. We haven't got a big orchestra.
I had to get the orchestra back in.
Yeah. So we are just approximating something. It's more like, could this song make a Bond style theme if you brought in a London Symphony Orchestra?
Well, what we do, of course, if this was the real world example, and we'd been given the commission by,
could happen, Tim.
Yeah.
After this, look at the phone's not going to stop ringing.
I know, yeah. So if it did happen, of course, you would make several demos or something to get to a point where you could give this to an orchestral arranger, or and there are bits in this that we've had to approximate that, as you say. There are string arrangements in there. There's all sorts of stuff, orchestral things, but they're only samples, or me just hitting a cymbal or rattling a tambourine or something.
So let us into. So you spent quite a few days. I know you spent like 3 days. Sort of trying to produce this and get this sounding, right for broadcast for the end of this podcast. Yeah. Talk us through what the process you've been through in doing that over the last, the different things you've tried and.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's done my head in, frankly. I'm absolutely sick of it. I'm sick of this song because I've had to make it into something that we wouldn't normally, So because of this exercise, I've had to make it into this cinematic thing. And I don't like cinematic things generally. I think some of the most wonderfully moving and evocative music is sensitive and downplayed and understated rather than massive. I mean, there are obvious exceptions. We can talk about that, about film music in general and how it moves stories along and things. But with this, it's out of context. It's not for a film. Well, I'm not even thinking of any images at all. The only thing I'm thinking is just broadly speaking, the sort of the sinister aspect, the cinematic sinister aspect of a Bond sort of theme, with John Barry's little signature in mind as well. So I've actually scrapped it a couple of times and started again. So this isn't, the version that I would have wanted, but it approximates.
It must be very strange for people who write to order. I mean, I can't imagine doing that, because obviously what we do, we write for pleasure. We write from what we want to write, and we play it whether people want to hear it or not, which has been what we've been doing so far on this podcast. Every song we've recorded and put at the end of the podcast has been ours, either yours or mine or both of ours together, and we've just recorded them the way we wanted to record them and go, this is us having fun and hope you like it. But this was very much written to an order that wasn't a real order, but we imagined what it would be like having to write to order, which is a very different thing. You're trying to bring in all these other criteria and go, what boxes do you have to tick to make this work? And I mean, lyrically as well. I mean, we wrote about that. Well, we wrote the lyrics in the studio. You were busy playing on the piano and trying to get doing the easy stuff, and I was away doing the really hard work of putting some words on a page. And again, you have to tick boxes. But the problem with this is, if you're writing to order, let's say you are a James Bond theme tune. You've been chosen to do the next film. You'd know what the film was about. You know the film title for a start. you'd know the film title, and you'd go, "What's it about? What themes does it contain?" Adele did Skyfall because she knew and she knew what the basic themes were about Skyfall.
What would the process be? Would the producers say, "Well, this is what it"? Would they talk to the writer and say, "This is what"? I'm not sure Adele wrote it, but whoever
she did, she did. She wrote it with her songwriter. Okay. Yeah.
So, and they. Right, this is what it's about.
Yeah.
This is how
they get the script.
Developed.
Yeah, I've heard her talk about this. Yeah, she got the script. She knew what it, or a draft of the script or whatever. So you know what it's about, and it's subtle. I mean, the problem with a James Bond film is you can't sing about what the James Bond film is because it's about shooting people and death and and sinister things. So this is an interesting thing that you have to do. You have to almost sidestep that, use some of the imagery, but then make it almost romantic or something, and make it soft and gentle in a way. So you've got to mention. So I've done this with the lyrics, and I kind of imagined. So in my head, I went, right, what's the James Bond film this is taken from? And I thought, I was thinking about, you could play like, sort of word soup with James Bond theme tunes. Die another day tomorrow doesn't know that it's
Finger.
Never say never again. Death, die, gun, shadow, golden, and you do that. And so I came up with this, the world in your hands. I don't know why, I just came out. I thought the world in your hands. That's the actual.
Well, the funny thing is, when I'm singing the words to this, and that is the motif that you take away from from this.
The world in your hands. Yeah.
The world in your hands.
So I thought that could be a mock James Bond title. And of course, not all. There's a couple of James Bond. It's interesting. There's a couple of James Bond theme tunes that don't necessarily take the title of the film as the song title, and I didn't want to do that as well, so I didn't do that. Like, famously, you don't write a song called Octopussy, do you? Because he's not that fussy. There's not a lot you can, and Casino Royale, you don't write a song called Casino. Well, actually, originally the very original one they did. The actual comedy version one.
I want to mention the actual latest one.
Yes, we will do. We will do, because I'm so glad you said that. That's one of my favourites.
Chris Cornell.
Chris Cornell. Anyway, we'll get on to that, because I think we should talk about. But we've already preempted there, because I looked that up, and it comes way down the rankings normally.
Have I just stole your thunder?
You've just no. I'm glad you like it. I'm glad you like that. I thought you were going to disagree with me.
Not at all.
We haven't planned this. Anyway, so I did the same way. I thought, right, it's called. So the film, this imaginary film, is called The World in Your Hands, but I don't want to call it that. And so what things you need to do? Well, you need to mention, something about taking a shot, but as in a gunshot. But no, don't make it sound like deadly and nasty, because that doesn't sound nice in a song. And your target and stuff like that. And it can, and it can. You'd want to get those little keywords in. I'm in your sights, you're in my sight, those kind of things. But you go, it's not about.
It's all great stuff. I mean, as I said the last couple of days, reading these things while I'm trying desperately to get a decent vocal take, it's great. The words are wonderful. Well, they're really evocative.
They're sort of. It's hard dancing on the edge of cliche and pastiche, but also trying to make it sound like a decent song. And I don't know. I've looked at it a number of times and thought, is it too cliched? When reality bites, your problems become so much bigger. The world in your hands, so make it pay. And then I called it Better Day. I thought, let's make it sound like a more optimistic song than sort of about death and the end of the world and saving the world and that kind of stuff. So, the song ended. Which
is the trope that that Bond, it is sinister and deathly and, generally. So it would have been, I think The World in Your Hand would have been great. But anyway, Better Day.
Yeah, it could have been. And I did write a third verse for this, but when you were coming to do it, it just made it too long, didn't it? I had a song that was like,
But when they say it, when we eventually are sat in the meeting in bloody Hollywood or something.
Yeah, when we're about.
And they say, listen, guys, can we call this The World in Your Hand? We'll say, yes, you damn well can.
No, I'm going to. No, I'm not going to allow it. I'll take it home with me. If they don't want it, I'm taking it home. No matter how much money, is on the table when we're sat by that pool drinking pina coladas.
We'll be flown out there business class and come back economy.
Yeah, they'll just find your own way back, lads. Yeah. No, I think I'll acquiesce to that. Yeah, they'll call it whatever they like. Actually,
call it acquiesce.
Yeah. A quantum of acquiescence. That's the Bond film. I mean, could you write a song called Quantum of Solace? There's no way.
Quantum of Bollocks.
There's no way you can write a song with that. So was that the one that? That's the one that Jack White did. Was it Quantum of Solace?
I don't know.
That was a shocker. Well, for me, it was.
Let's talk about the good and the bad then.
All right, okay. Well, we did
Have you got some favourites?
I have favourites. I think I oscillate between various ones, and you get, like any favourites, when there's a lot to choose from. It's like that's your favourite Beatles song. You'll, depending on what day it is, you will choose a different one. I think same with Bond themes. And I am a big fan. Are you a fan? Are you a Bond fan? I don't know this.
I'm not necessarily a Bond. I'll tell you something. Daniel Craig.
Tell me something, Tim.
Daniel Craig sort of
You met him. You've met him.
No, I haven't.
You met everyone.
It reignited my sort of interest in it. I wouldn't say my love of it, but my interest, because I think he's just really cool. And I think he's a fantastic, great actor. Yeah. He couldn't have been a better choice for Bond.
It was a great choice for a new era, wasn't it? He brought He definitely reinvented that gutsy, sort of more, earthy.
Did he take over from Pierce Brosnan?
Took over from Pierce Brosnan.
Which was a nothing era, I think.
Well, it started off fine. I think every Bond represents its era. I think that's the great thing about it. I think partly what makes it such a success is it sort of reflects the era it's in, like the cool suave 60s era of Connery, and then the slightly more sarcastic, sort of camp era of Roger Moore. And it, I actually, the Roger Moore era was kind of my era.
Mine too.
That was when I was going to cinemas as a kid.
Not Moonraker. What's that one? Is it Moonraker?
Yeah, Moonraker was one. Spy Who Loved Me, Man with the Golden Gun, anyway, a few others. So that was the era me and my mate Derek in Stockport. We'd go to the cinema. We'd go to the classic in Stockport. We'd watch double bills of Roger Moore kind of era stuff. And that was so now looking back on it, you go, it's awful. But it wasn't awful then, because that was your time and everything.
It's very Alan Partridge, of course, this.
We are totally in Alan Partridge land here talking about this.
Yeah, wonderful.
But anyway, favourite song, it's hard for me to not vote for Macca. It's hard to not, because for me that was probably one of the most inventive. Live and Let Die was probably the most inventive. And still, if it comes on the radio and you just go, well, I turned that up, that's great. And it's so different, so varied. There's like 3 different sections to it. You've got a reggae section. Yeah. And then you've got the reggae
section.
Yes,
oh, please.
Well, it was, but but then you think the film did have a Caribbean kind of twist in it.
It was I better put a reggae section in,
Yeah. And then there's the orchestral bit, which Thingy wrote. Well, that was pretty much down to
John Barry.
No, that was George
Martin.
George Martin. Sorry, name escaped me then. Yeah, George Martin was predominantly involved in that bit. He got him in, said, "Can you do this break here?" So, and he composed that section, which is great, fantastic bit. And then of course there's the Guns N' Roses version with
oh dear. That's terrible.
Can you put some more vibrato on your voice there, Axel? Yeah. Yes. How's that? After that, I'm going to go with Casino Royale, the new Chris Cornell. And as I said before, so good. And his voice is extraordinary. It's just that, and such a gutsy song. And for me, that totally worked with what they must have said to him, right? Chris, this song is about a reinvention of Bond as a gutsy, hard-edged Bourne era, Jason Bourne era. He's not suave anymore. He's a bit more of a blunt instrument. And he came up with a song that sums that up. It's gutsy,
was
edgy.
Was that the first one that Daniel Craig did?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was a reset. Wow. It was a complete reset. Yeah. Because the last one with Pierce Brosnan, whatever it was, something about dying, probably another day or something.
Could have been dying. Which
had one of the worst, which was Madonna as a theme tune.
Oh, I can't even remember it.
Robo Madonna.
I can't remember it.
Day another day. It was just like it was all kind of auto-tuned.
This is, I think, one of the issues with. I'm not going to mention it when we meet them, but I think the producers often they get the charts out. Who's this? Billie Eilish. That's Billie Eilish. Okay, yeah, Billie Eilish. Well, let's ring her. Get her on the phone, and we'll see if she wants to. Not knowing that sometimes these things can sort of backfire. I mean, Billie Eilish, come on. And Sam Smith.
Oh, the Sam Smith one is possibly, I think, well, I could come up with loads I don't like. That is just a dreary.
So someone's looked at the charts and
awful-
just thought, yeah, we better get Sam Smith.
Oh, it's a terrible song. It was such a disappointment, that song.
Yeah.
It started off so well, that kind of era of Daniel Craig, and then Adele's all right. Adele one's okay. So what's your favourite, worst?
I'm not sure about the worst. I don't know. There's lots of them I don't really like, to be honest. But there are some that I really love. I mean, License to Kill, Gladys Knight.
Okay, that's an interesting one. That's you throw me a curveball there. Yeah.
Gladys Knight. I mean, what
Yeah.
a wonderful, wonderful voice she's got. I mean,
yeah.
ridiculously perfect soul voice. I mean, if you're producing something and you get her in the studio to do stuff, it must be a dream. You must go home that day feeling so great, because her voice is just such an evocative thing. And I'm pretty sure that some of these big artists, you know, obviously they don't write the stuff, but they just come in, sing all day, and then go home. And for somebody to just fall into the song and make it theirs so quickly, off the cuff like that, it's quite amazing. And I think License to Kill is a wonderful, wonderful song.
Okay.
With great orchestration as well. Even the verse is just brilliant.
No, it is a good song. I'm surprised you said. Yeah, I didn't know you were going to say that.
Yeah.
The other one I like that people don't like, I think, is a great song, and I'm going to say I think it's, and I haven't rehearsed this, so I don't know. I'm going to say I think it's a Marvin Hamlish song. Is Carly Simon? No One Does It Better.
Yeah.
That's a really good song.
It's a great song.
I mean, it doesn't sound like a Bond song. As in,
No,
it's
it
a bit,
doesn't.
it's a bit kind of romantic.
Well,
you know,
going
sort of.
back to the camp thing you were talking
Yeah.
about, Roger Moore. I think it's a Roger Moore.
I mean, yeah, in a way, dreadful that nobody does it better. No one, you know, it's like fawning over this, you know, a woman fawning over this male figure.
Was it Moonraker?
But
I don't know.
nobody does it. I think it was Live and Let. I think it was
So we'll find out.
Spy Who Loved Me.
Oh,
Spy Who Loved Me.
that's
I
it,
think.
yeah.
I think. And it's a great song.
Oh, actually, she says "The Spoil of Me" in the
Yeah,
song.
she does. There you go. So another one again. You can't. You have to. You couldn't really call the song that. You couldn't make that the chorus line because it's just a weird phrase. But and she gets it in. So which is kind of a trope of Bond films. Like if the title of the film doesn't work as a title of a song, you've got to get it in there somewhere. Yeah. But the one that's probably the most atrocious, I think, in a way.
Not that we're going to mention this in the meeting.
No. Is the what's her name? Rita Coolidge. All Time High. Do you remember that one?
No.
Oh, that's awful. Rita Coolidge, All Time High. I can't even tell you. I think that's Octopussy.
Is it?
I think because obviously again they had to sidestep that title. We can call a film that, but we're not calling a song that. I can't imagine that coming down in the top 40. And in at number 20, Octopussy.
Let's rock.
So yeah, that's an awful song. Listen to that. If you're at home, put it on just for laughs because it's a shocker.
When I'm in a really bad mood, I'll just put that on.
Yeah, but yeah. So it's Chris Cornell. So an interesting about the Chris Cornell one. I looked this up out of interest to see where that came. You know, you go to all these lists, you know, the Time Out list or the Rolling Stone list of the best, all ranked James Bond, and that comes very low.
Really?
People don't
Well, I'm
like
not
it.
Actually, I'm not
People don't
surprised.
like it.
It's a bit, it's a bit sort of, it's a bit edgy, and it does coincide, as we said before, with the Daniel Craig, the beginning of the Daniel Craig era, which I seem to remember at the time the producers of the films were talking about it going more towards the dark side of James Bond.
Yeah.
Because I think the original Fleming stuff was got a dark
It was
side.
a bit edgy, yeah. They wanted to reinvent it because it had just gone silly. Because the film before with Pierce Brosnan, it had gone so ridiculously towards, you know, it had invisible cars in it and all kinds of him paragliding
I never saw that.
off a glacier using only a curtain or whatever. It was just utterly went totally into this almost science fiction fantasy land of a spy. And then they thought, we've got to bring that back because at the same time, all the Jason Bourne films were a massive success, and that was really grounded. This was a real person who had real skills and no gadgets, and we're just able to use a rolled up newspaper to kill someone.
We've all done it.
You've all done it, and you know, but we try to forget those days. And yeah, so they thought let's reinvent that. You know, it's bringing back to how Fleming kind of saw him.
So I think the Chris Cornell
Did that?
doing Casino Royale was a sort of jumping off point to go a bit more sinister, and that, You Know My Name track.
Yeah, You Know My Name.
It's just so
It's great.
great.
And the best opening titles, I think, as well.
And the beautiful playing cards.
Yeah, the playing cards thing. It was so simple because it sidestepped all the kind of naked silhouetted women and just went like, let's just talk about this film's about.
I watched this a few weeks ago. I remember watching this the opening credits again. Obviously, the playing cards are animated, and Chris Cornell's music is going on over the top of it. But there are little things where you skim across, let's say, the face of the Queen of Hearts or something, and the face becomes one of the stars of the film. There's lots of little things that are going on there. They must have such great fun making those.
Yeah, those things. They're films in themselves, aren't they? Yeah. Those opening titles, they become that. Everyone, that's the thing about Bond films. There's so many great tropes that that become. We look forward to. What's the song going to be? Yeah. That's announced months before the film, and then what's the opening title going to be? And then who's going to play the baddie? Which famous is it? Javier Bardem, or is it? Who's going to be which famous kind of Shakespearean actor is going to come in?
Let's have an English baddie.
Yeah, it's an English baddie, although he's not. It's.
If we were doing this about the worst baddie, it was that idiot that played Freddie Mercury.
In the last one, in the very last one. Yeah, I know.
He's an idiot.
Yeah, you take one look at him and go, you're not running the world. There's no way.
Sit down, mate.
You should be working in the corner shop.
Yeah, sit over there, mate. You're right.
Yeah, there was Rami Malek.
Rami Malek, yeah.
I mean, you're basically Freddie Mercury trying to run the world.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, you're not convincing me. So that's those are our favourite and worst.
I mean, obviously we're talking about here is Bond theme tunes because we've done this as an exercise, but also the way that music can move things along and can become synonymous. Because of course, when you've got the job of making music for a film, you're going to be looking at the rushes, in a theatre perhaps, and you've got your instruments there, and you can make all the demos for it. And you're thinking, I've got to keep this bit of melody for the main character. I've got to keep this melody for the baddie. So you do all that. But little do you know that your music is then going to become synonymous with that. So with the film. So at the time, it's just moving things along. And the director's happy. Yeah, great. Okay, we're happy. Let's get all the orchestra in. Let's do all the recording. That's fantastic. It's all sounding great. And then it becomes known and tied into and synonymous with the music itself, with the film itself, which is that is fascinating to me. I mean, obviously, things like James Horner when he was doing the music for Titanic or something. No one can think of the film at the moment without that music. So all that stuff, and of course Celine Dion's song as well. All that stuff is synonymous with it, but it wouldn't have been at the time. It would have needed the faith of the director or the production team or whoever, the owners of the studio, to say, let's go with this, and then it becomes synonymous afterwards. So it's a massive leap of faith at that stage, which I love. I'm just hoping, as I say, in the meeting they go with us, and
could happen.
We'll use things like words like synonymous if we do.
Yeah, and synergy.
Yeah,
and joking aside, though, would you like to? Is it something you would love to do? So if you'd managed to get into movies or movie, composing, is that something you would? I could see you doing that.
I think it's probably easier to become synonymous with a film, easier than you think, because as long as somebody's got faith in you, as I was saying before, as long as somebody's got faith in you. It's a bit like, let's say a film like Dead Man's Shoes. Have you seen Dead Man's Shoes? Paddy Considine?
No, I don't think I have.
Right, so the music in that is very understated, very low-key, very understated all the way through it, and yet it is sinister as hell. Even though, if you heard it out of context, it wouldn't be. But because it's with those images, and all it takes is somebody to have faith in you to start with. So you could say, well, okay, I know this is a mad action film, but all I'm going to do is acoustic guitar all the way through it. That's going to take a brave director or a brave producer to say, crack on then, mate, yeah.
So something you'd love to have done?
Yeah.
If someone had put the sound, you could.
I've done
but only doing your
theatre shows before. But they've been very prescriptive. It's been George Orwell or Robert Louis Stevenson. I did Treasure Island. And that's very sort of, it's pirates. We're on an island, so it's very easy to sort of to become part of that. You don't necessarily have to have anybody's faith in it. All they're after is some accordion and some squawking parrots in the background, and Long John Silver doing his stuff, and Ben Gunn. As long as you've got all those things in there, you're fine. When it comes to something like this, doing something from scratch that's going to be synonymous with it, then you do need faith from somebody to just allow you to just go with wherever you want to go. Quite often, some of the worst things are the most predictable things. The things that are not predictable come at you from nowhere. You're thinking, wow, where the hell did that come from?
Well, there's certain people like someone like Johnny Greenwood from Radiohead. So he was. He was asked to do. He's done a few soundtracks now, but he continues to be him.
Of course.
And he's not gone away and written a big orchestral thing.
Yeah.
Whereas someone like, let's say, who am I thinking of? Hans Zimmer, who people forget was part of the Buggles, who was the keyboard player. Was he not? Have I just made that up?
I'm not sure. Once again.
Oh, we could have. Well, he was. I'm pretty sure Hans Zimmer was with.
I don't know if he was part of the Buggles. That was Jeff Downes. It was.
Was he?
Yeah, it was Trevor Horn and Jeff Downes.
Okay.
But
anyway, I've just made a complete fool of myself on the podcast, but we'll look that up and find out. I might even just quickly Google that as we go.
I mean, obviously, Hans, if you're listening, I'm sorry.
Yeah, just get in touch. Let us know. Let us know what your first band was. And but he was a sort of synth player in a band or in that sort of era.
He's become. And wonderful thing about him, he's become synonymous with Christopher Nolan films.
Yeah, and others, yeah.
And so many others, of course. But of course, you can imagine Christopher Nolan now filming stuff, thinking, his music is
in the same way that Spielberg does John Williams.
Yeah.
I mean, bless him, he's knocking on now, so he's probably not going to do too many more. Yeah. But he's still using John Williams, or was he still using John Williams, all his films, because he just knows what he's going to get. He knows he can sit down with him and go, I've got a film about a shark, John. Have you got anything in your back pocket for it? And he goes, funnily enough, here's a couple of notes. Do.
Notes.
Oh, nice, I like that. Yeah. Imagine his face when he just played that. Yeah. It's like, anything more tuneful than that, John? Just wondering.
Even a third note would be
just
great.
A third note would be nice. Yeah. And then there you go. Well, is this one I've got? We've got 5 notes. We'll use that one.
Stick with me, Stephen. It's going to be all right.
Yeah. And lo, it was one of the most evocative pieces of film music ever.
And then of course, Jurassic Park. You can't think of that without John Williams.
Jurassic Park, Superman, Raiders of the Lost Ark, all those themes he's got, all the Star Wars stuff, of course. Yeah. Just I don't know how he does. That's insane. He's just there's a wonderful documentary, and I think it's on Apple. I'm pretty sure it's on Apple, or maybe it's Disney, actually, Disney Plus, about John Williams, and it's lovely. It's beautiful. It's his sort of story and going through all the films he's written. Lovely guy, such a lovely, quiet, gentle. It's like your favourite granddad. And he, it's a great. It's probably called John Williams: A Life in Music or Film or something like that. So if anyone's not seen that, look there up. It's just fantastic film, little movie that's been made about him. But Hans Zimmer's stuff is pretty amazing. My wife loves Hans Zimmer. We've been to see Hans Zimmer music live, and great. I mean, he's written some great stuff.
I think I would really love to be given the chance. I mean, this is not going to happen, of course, but I would have loved to have been given the chance to write for a film. And that would have been lovely. And then get to the point where you've done all your demos, these daft little things that we do on the software, in my bedroom. And then you go to Abbey Road or something, big studio, 40-piece orchestra. And somebody has helped you arrange your stuff, your demos into orchestral pieces that can be played by all these really competent, wonderful musicians.
That's amazing. Imagine that. It's just
imagine me sat there in the room.
You just crumple. You'd just be like,
I'd been pieces.
Oh, it's amazing.
Absolutely in pieces.
Split Abbey Road or something and see someone stand up and conduct your piece, and you're there behind the glass, just going.
I've actually stood there in the studios in Abbey Road, and I've been fantasizing about that when I've been stood there on the parquet flooring, looking at this wonderful space, thinking, wouldn't it be wonderful to be in this position, to be here? Obviously the pressure. I mean,
oh yeah,
I don't think about the pressure. because the pressure would be crippling for me. I would find that really, really.
So
hard.
you're not thinking about the thing that you're not doing because you're not actually doing it.
Not thinking. No,
Yeah.
I'm not, yeah. But once again, I don't want to mention this in the meeting.
No.
When they open that suitcase and it's got all that money in it, they say, "Do you want this, boys?" And we go, "Yes."
I'll take that.
I'll take that.
Thank you
There's
very
going to be a
much.
lot of pressure. Don't care.
So have you got any for Tim? Because he wrote some of it. He wrote the kind of tuney bit.
So who actually? So these days, I'm talking about the Broccoli's, but it's not the Broccoli's anymore.
No, they've sold it. They've sold it just after the last one because they killed him off, didn't they, in the last one? And they've got to completely reinvent it. I don't know how they're going to do it, but they're going to completely, start again. And it's an Amazon. This is it made my.
So it's Jeff
stomach
Bezos.
stomach churn. Yeah, Jeff Bezos basically bought the Bond franchise now, and it's just owned by
He's like a
people
Bond
that
villain.
ship
He's like a Bond
books
villain
and,
himself,
and knives to people, stuff, household objects to people on their doorstep, and they now own this film franchise. It's like, no, it's the world just becoming this homogenized thing. But so I don't know what's going to happen to it creatively. But anyway, who knows? Let's see. Don't know who the next James Bond film is. But by the way, Tim, my producer is just speaking into my ear, Mr. Google, saying that Hans Zimmer's first professional band was Krakatoa, a short-lived hard rock group that he played keyboards for in the 70s. And then he joined the Boggles, playing synths on Video Killed the Radio Star.
Oh, brilliant!
So he was. I thought that was. I was hoping I wasn't going mad, but yeah. So he wasn't the original. So I think he joined. But then he's part of the big hit that they had. So he is on the video. If you ever go out and watch the video of Video Kill the Radio Star, the guy in the back was on the keyboard, the synth. That's the guy who now writes just about every other theme tune or soundtrack for pretty much every mainstream movie going.
I wonder how much working with Trevor Horn influenced him.
Probably hugely.
Hugely,
Yeah, because he's an incredible composer and producer.
Fantastic producer.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I mean, this is not anything to do with film music, but, well, perhaps for another podcast, we'll talk about production, with our favourite producers and how they've influenced.
Yeah.
That would be a good one for me.
Yeah.
I would love that. So it's worth asking each other about what our favourite film music is.
Favorite soundtrack.
Favourite soundtrack, yeah.
I have not so much soundtrack as a single piece of music from a film.
Okay.
I mean, the whole soundtrack is great, but there's one piece of music from. I've got to say it has to be my all-time favourite film, and probably my wife's as well, Jill's favourite film as well, and that's Schindler's List. The solo violin theme.
Oh yeah,
it breaks you.
Is that John Williams?
That's John Williams, and he wrote that, and he got a violin, an Israeli kind of fiddler, a fiddler on the roof, and it's just. I mean, obviously the film is, and it's intrinsic. It's entwined with the film and the whole feel of the film. And when it comes on, you hear this piece. It's maudlin. It's beautiful. It's hopeful. It's like, how can it be all of those things at the same time? I know. And it's just one instrument, and it's one sweet, sweet melody that you cannot. How does a person come up with that when he doesn't write for the violin? He had to write that presumably in his head on a keyboard.
It's simple.
And then and knowing that's good.
It just makes you emotional. Just thinking about it. I can see that girl in the red coat.
The red girl in the red coat. Yeah. So that's probably the one that's you're just throwing that question out now, and that's all I can think of for now. But that's how about you?
There's quite a few. I mean, James Horner, I think, did Braveheart. I hope he did. Blimey.
Do you want to ask the producer?
Imagine. Well, you can ask Google if you like. But yeah, James Horner, Braveheart. The stuff that he did in there is just this side of Scottish pastiche, which is difficult to say. Cornish pasties, Scottish pastiche. Scottish pastiche.
Oh, that's back to Sean Connery. Back to Ray Chatz. Back to Bond.
Yes. So there's some pipes in there, obviously, that are going to transport you back to sort of medieval Scotland, but it's pretty wonderful. And there are parts that aren't necessarily that Scottish that are lovely. When he gets married in secret to Murren, his wife, in the forest. Because they're not allowed to get married, so they do it in secret at night. I think it's called The Secret Wedding, this particular thing. And we actually used, Thea and I, when we got married, we used that very, hyper romantically. We used that at our wedding. But I remember.
I remember.
You would. You stood next to me.
I was there.
So yeah, it's really lovely piece of music.
And it was James Horner. My producer's telling me.
Oh, great,
Yeah.
cool.
Thanks, Mr. Google. Weird name for producer. But it's,
Yeah, so I do like that, and there's actually lots of them. There's lots of them. We've mentioned before a film called Once, which Glenn Hansard was in.
of course, yeah.
And
our good friend Glenn.
Yeah, well, of course, he wrote all the tunes, in with the band that he was in at the time, and with his partner, I think his partner at the time, who was an Eastern European lady who played fantastic piano, and she also sang really well. But lots of the music in that is pretty special as well. In fact, I think he still plays some of the songs from that in his live set. But that's wonderful. That's less of a sort of soundtrack moving things along and more of a sort of musical film, really, because it's got lots of tunes in it. But there's lots of the James Horner stuff is great. Lots of the Hans Zimmer stuff is great. What's that film with Matthew McConaughey in it? That's I think it's a
Interstellar.
Yeah.
The music. Oh, yes, the music to that
is quite amazing.
Is you could listen to the whole soundtrack, and it's a lovely.
Because I'm not a
very
massive fan
ethereal
of that film.
Oh, I love that film.
But I think when you put the music in it, it elevates it massively. Massively.
Oh, it's
Without
beautiful.
that music, it wouldn't quite be the same thing, would it?
It's Jules' my wife's favourite film, one of her favourite films, and she listens to that soundtrack quite a lot. In fact, she paints to it sometimes. It's. But you mentioned the Frames then. Well, obviously, we've supported the Frames or played with the Frames in London at the Mean Fiddler. And one of the other members, as well as Glenn Hansard, who, because it was the guy called John Carney who was part of the Frames. Yeah. And I think he was involved in making one. So he might have even directed it. And he now consistently makes films about music. There's a new one out with Paul Rudd called Power Ballad. And again, it makes all his films about music. Right. And there's some good ones, but Once is a great film, beautiful. Great, and you've seen this. We've talked about the stage show before, and you've seen the stage show. But anyway, I think we've probably rambled on enough. So
much, enough with the rambling.
Enough rambling. We'll close with our attempt at writing a fictional.
We're going to present this to them in that meeting.
Well, yeah, okay. So let's do that again. We're going to end with our fabulous new, actual, real life theme tune to the next James Bond film that's going to be on Amazon. Yeah. So we're going to finish with this, and remember everyone, diamonds are forever.
They are.
Facing the trials of the day, there's no second shot, backward glances. Tracing your steps never pays. You take what you've got, take your chances. World in your hands, so make it pay. Part of a plan to build a better day. Got it all there in your sights. You can't hesitate on the trigger. And when the reality bites, your problems become so much bigger. So make it pay. Part of a plan to build a better day. We're building a better day, a better way. your hands, so make it pay. All of the plans to build a better day.
Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. We really appreciate it. And if you could like and subscribe or even leave a review, that would be just brilliant. Anyway, see you again soon. Bye.